Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Heather Ness. I am Heather Ness. If you're new here, I'm an intuitive numerologist and spiritual mentor, and I'm so excited that you're watching today. Today is our third video in our three-part series, Personal Years in Numerology. And I absolutely love personal years. It's a vibration that we're gonna go through and we're gonna experience the entire year and we're really gonna feel it. So this third video is gonna cover personal year 7, 8, and 9. If you don't know how to calculate your personal year, go back to the first video. I'll have it linked here in the notes of the video, right down there. So you can go back there, click on the very first video, and I walk you through how to calculate your personal year. Also, once you've figured out your personal year for this year coming up in 2025, you can even go back and calculate what your 24 was or what your other years were, because it really illuminates kind of the experience that we have that year. And I do talk a little bit in my first video about the energy of the collective year, which is different than your personal year most of the time. So make sure that you go back and watch those. It's really going to give you an understanding of the vibe that you're going to have in the coming year. And so, first of all, if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please do. The button is right there. Click it right now. By clicking that, it really shows me support. It allows me to continue doing this. I'd also appreciate if you give me a thumbs up on the video and leave a note, leave a little message. Tell me what year you're in. I would love to hear it. Having said that, let's talk about personal years. Personal year number 7 is the year we're going to talk about right now. Wow. I will tell you, this is actually the year that I'm in currently in 2024. I'm going through a personal year number 7, so I know it deeply. I really call this year focused expert. Focused expert. That's what I want to call it. The focused expert. This is a year where you're going to be really called to becoming the expert in something. Many times, so just so you know, number 7s are typically a little more inward focused. They have the energy of someone that enjoys being the expert. They're very, they're open to people's ideas and thoughts, but they're not one that will take someone's thought as their own until they've done their research or they've dived into whatever that subject is and made a conclusion for themselves. And so many times the energy of 7 is a very spiritual number. It's a very spiritual energy. And what happens when someone is going through a personal year 7, many times you're going to be drawn to a subject or a topic or a focus that you really feel passionate about. And you just want to know every aspect of that. So this is a year to really possibly go back to school, take a class, learn something deeply, read a bunch of books about something that really lights you up inside. And what many people find is that in a year 7, you will have a spiritual awakening. Not always, but many times. And or if you're already sort of spiritually awoken, you might even have an awakening that brings you to that next level. It's really a divine year. And it also defines your next 3 years, because many times what we focus on in this year 7 ends up being sort of the focus as we're starting to end out this 9-year cycle and moving into the next. So we'll talk about that in the next one. But when you're in a year 7, you're going to want to learn something. You're going to want to learn it well and deeply. You're going to want to become the expert in it. Many times you're going to go inwards. Part of the shadow of a 7 is that you may not be, if you're sort of a social, number, let's say you happen to be a 3 or even a 5, where they're very excited and adventurous or just joyful and want to be around people. It is possible that in this year you're feeling a little more reserved. You're feeling like you're not really called to go out. You kind of want to be at home and be in your little space. It's not uncommon in a year 7 that you kind of feel more inward. The shadow side to that is you don't want to become a hermit completely. So make sure that you focus on balance in your year 7. It is a year of enhanced intuition. So if you're feeling the call to understand yourself in a deeper level, if you're feeling the call to understand the world in a deeper level, heed that call, dig into it, find out what it is that's really lighting you up, and that right there is going to be key. For me personally, this was my year 7, 2024, and like I talked about in a previous video, you have like a shadow of before the year and a little after the year, kind of like, it casts a shadow, you feel it. I started feeling this want to know more about spirituality, about my intuition, about numerology around September, October of the following year. And then when I got into 2024 is when it realized that it lined up with a year 7. And I was already beginning to feel that call to those things. So it's one of the reasons why I love numerology. It is so cool and so insightful to understand yourself in a deeper level and like what's happening in your world and why you're here and all this magical stuff. So this is just a year of self-discovery. It's a year of knowledge. It's a year of spiritual growth, and just love it and enjoy it and dive in deep and have fun with it. Don't take yourself so seriously. Don't take the world so seriously, and don't forget to let loose and have a little fun. If you're feeling a little tired in year 7, that's completely fine. Sleep in, take a day off, enjoy yourself. And that's really what you're going to experience in the year 7. So now let's talk about your personal year 8. Wow, 8 is such a fun energy to enter into, especially if like manifestation or like financial success is really like something that lights you up, because a year 8 is all about that. The year 8 in itself, like when you think of the number 8, it's a very powerful number. It's a number that is like confident. It kind of brings, I want to say, like a little bit of that Leo energy, that very like confident energy. They're typically, that energy is very like large and in charge. The advantage to this year, a year number 8, is it's going to be a year focused on finance. It's going to be a year focused on being the leader. It's going to be a year focused on financial success, prosperity, abundance, manifestation, all of these really cool things. And it's also the first of a 3-year kind of like push into your next 9-year cycle. So, what I find what's so neat about these personal years is each year sort of leads into the next year, and you find that they really work well together. We just covered a year 7. A year 7's about being the experts. It's more inward focused. It's about finding out what lights us up inside. All of this amazing stuff. We typically specialize in something. And then it follows a year 8. So to me, what that means is that this is a year that whatever you were focused on in the previous year, whatever really lit you up, this is an opportunity for you to turn this into something that could really lead to some financial success. It is a year where, if you had an idea or you got into something, let's say maybe you decide to go down a new career and you really focus on learning that new subject to this new career, a year 8 is a year that you're likely going to find a new position that's going to give you that financial abundance that you're looking for. A year 8 is a year where if you learn something and you want to turn it into a business, it is such an amazing year to like flip it into a prosperous business. Now, the key with a year 8 is you've got to have balance. If you look at the number 8, it's sort of like this, right? Kind of goes up, it comes back down. With 8 energy, you have to make sure that you balance that energy. So even though we're going to be focused this year on manifestation, on abundance, on prosperity, financial success, we can't neglect ourself, our family, or whatever it is other than financial abundance in our life. It's a year that we have to find balance. It's also a year that if you haven't found balance with your finances, it will help you find balance. The advantage of a year is that if you have a year 8, if you have a loss in that year, don't sweat it. A year number 8 is that it just goes right back up. So if you go down, you go straight back up. So if you stay positive in that and find the lessons in that thing that might have maybe not worked out the way you wanted it to, you're going to find that a year 8, you're able to turn around like that. That is the key with the 8 energy, is that you have that balance and that you balance the authoritative or in control energy with also like a loving presence. When you balance those two or marry those two, 8 energy is so beautiful. What I love about the 8 energy is it is really about creating that success that you feel you want. So, when you're in a personal year 8, you are empowered to have a large vision, like dream really big, and don't put limits on what that is. The key with manifestation is to put it out in the world, believe and know in every part of your body that it's going to come true, and to let go and release control, right? One of the shadow sides of 8 is control, is a little controlling. People that have a lot of 8 energy in their chart, more than 8, can sometimes be a little dominating at times, a little controlling. So they have to learn how to balance that give and take. When we're looking at manifesting, especially in a year 8 or just in general, you want to put out in the world what you want, but you don't want to limit how you receive that. Because many times I know that I found for myself, when I want something, but I feel like it has to be this way, many times it comes to me, but in a way that was not what I thought was going to happen or how I thought it was going to happen. And that's the key with 8 energy. And when you're in a personal year 8, is to put out in the world verbally. You want to manifest it, you want to think about it, you want to write it down, you want to meditate on it, but you don't want to be so controlling that it has to come to you in this way, right? So success can happen in many different ways, and many times the biggest success that we have is unexpected. And that's what's so beautiful about an 8. If you really allow yourself to give up control on how to receive that item or that thing or that success that you want, you're going to have an absolutely abundant year 8. Like I said before, it's the start of a 3-year push. So whatever you start laying the foundation for in the year 8, it's really going to help propel you into your next 9-year cycle. And that's really going to be a focus likely of your next 9-year cycle, which is super exciting. So that would be the energy of the 8. The 8 energy is all about financial success. It is about abundance and prosperity. It's about manifesting what you want, but releasing the control on how you receive it. That is the balance with the number 8. So if you're able to do those things in your year 8, you're going to have the most prosperous year ever. Now let's talk about a year 9. The year 9 is such an amazing year and challenging year and transformational year. It is the end of a 9-year cycle. So in numerology, we have these platforms or these cycles that we cycle through to learn lessons, to grow as a soul, to be able to give ourselves this new wave of energy. And the number 9 is the ending of, right? It's the last number in the 9 core numbers of numerology. It is the completion number. It is the number that encompasses all the other numbers. 9 energy is such a transformational energy in itself. When you meet people that have 9 energy, they are sort of chameleons in the best sense when it comes to energy. They can relate to all of the other energies. So the beauty in a year 9 is you're able to take the lessons and the positive things from the past 8 years, and it becomes sort of like a culmination of your year 9. So it is a year of transformation. And many times when we transform, we have to lose something in that process. If you think of like a butterfly, a caterpillar that transforms into a butterfly. It is one thing. It's a caterpillar, which is beautiful in itself and an amazing creature. And then it cocoons itself, right? Which is what your year 9 is. It's like a cocoon where it's sort of like this rebirth right before you go into your next 9-year cycle. You have this beautiful butterfly that comes out. This is your year 9 where you're cocooning, where you're taking, what's the word I'm looking for? You're looking at everything in your life, you're asking yourself, what is serving me and what is not, right? And it is a year that you'll find that is becomes very transformative because it is a year of conclusions. It's a year of releasing. It's a year of realizing that what we just achieved in the last 9-year cycle is amazing, but sometimes what's got us here, right? There's a saying, what got us here won't necessarily get us there. This is a year where we have to really look and say, what in our life is working for me? What in my life is not working as it used to, is not as beneficial to me as it used to be. And the only way to create more space for something new to come in is sometimes we have to let things go. So sometimes in a year 9, you might experience a sense of loss. Maybe not in it could be, but not always like in a really bad way, but you might feel a sense of you might realize that a relationship or a friendship is no longer serving your highest good. And you might release that friendship or that relationship. You might find that it is a year that you realize that your current career or job is not serving what you want in life. It's not feeding you emotionally or financially the way it needs to. And it's a time when you're now like, okay, it's time to release this. I need something new. It is time for something new. So year 9 is like the cocoon of a butterfly. The caterpillar has entered into the cocoon. It is transforming into the most beautiful thing. And so in a year 9, you will find that you might have some really large personal growth, spiritual growth, like some really aha moments. And in that aha moment, sometimes that is like a release of something, It doesn't have to be bad. Sometimes we realize, I listen to a podcaster who talks about bodies of work. And those bodies of work, in the last 9 years, you've had a body of work, whatever that was, whether it was family, whether it was creative family, whether it was building a life, whether it was whatever that body of work was. It's still beautiful and perfect just the way it is, but you're about to enter into a new body of work. And sometimes to enter into that new body of work, we have to release something. So it is a year of transformation. It is a year of release. It is a year of conclusion. And it is a year of reflection, because we're looking back on all the amazing things that we've accomplished or achieved in the last 9 years, right? Because we're in our 9-year cycle, but we're cocooning to be able to expand into this beautiful butterfly, this transformational butterfly in our year 1. So this is the conclusion of your personal years. I really hope that you enjoyed it. I have linked the other 2 videos in the show notes below. So if you need to know how to calculate your personal year, click down there. If you want to understand the other 6 personal years in your 9-year cycle, click on those videos. Again, thank you so much for watching. If you're enjoying the content, please make sure you subscribe right now. It really shows me support. My goal is to hit 1,000 subscribers, obviously as fast as I can, but my goal is within 3 months at minimum. So if you can just support me by clicking that subscribe button and let me know in the comments what's your 2025 personal year. I would love to hear about your next year, maybe even the year that you're in. Thank you so much. You guys have a beautiful day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.